Today, we are going to talk about the top players who were unexpectedly put on the bench this season. Let's go! Cristiano Ronaldo is fading away. But who would have thought that it would happen so quickly? The Portuguese was recognised as Manchester United's best player of the last season. Upon returning to England at 36 years of age, Ronaldo netted 24 goals and delivered 3 assists in 39 appearances in all competitions. Fans and pundits had only one complaint against Cristiano, which is low activity in pressing. While Erik ten Hag, who took charge of the Red Devils, mostly relies on fast-paced and sharp attacking football, which Ronaldo is already struggling to fit into due to his age. And let's not forget that CR7 tried to escape Manchester all summer long, looking for a new destination where he could continue performing in the Champions League. All his attempts fell through, so now Ronaldo, yielding to younger, more energetic attackers, is forced to sit on the bench and prove something to Ten Hag in training sessions. A paradoxical and quite a humiliating situation for Cristiano late in his career. Antonio Rudiger has joined Real Madrid on a free transfer following the expiration of his contract with Chelsea. It was assumed that the German centre-back would become a long-awaited replacement for Sergio Ramos, the same physically strong, fast defender with a well-defined fighting spirit. Rudiger's instant appearance in the first team was not even questioned. The Spanish media assumed that the Eder Militao and David Alaba duo would break up and the Austrian would simply take the left flank of the defence, while Rudiger would take his place in the centre. But no! Carlo Ancelotti hasn't changed a thing and has kept pretty much the same starting lineup concept with which Real triumphed at both La Liga and the Champions League in the spring. Out of the 9 matches of the current campaign, Rudiger appeared in 6, and even then, he was starting only 3 of them. It is not clear if Antonio will be able to get chosen instead of Militao and Alaba in the foreseeable future. Most likely, he, like us, did not expect that he would find himself in such a position. No indulgence from Ancelotti. After the summer transfer window buzz, Barcelona have set up crazy competition in all lines, and as a result, newcomer Franck Kessie, who has been one of the best Serie A midfielders of the past few years, still can't make it to the starting lineup. The Ivorian hasn't yet played a single match for the Blaugrana, although he clearly spent time training and got in shape with the team in the pre-season tour. So far, the only adequate chance given by Xavi took place in the match of the Champions League group stage, match day 1, against Viktoria Pilsen. By the way, in that very game, Kessie managed to score his first goal for Barca. Although in general, Frank's slow integration looks confusing, he was signed to gradually relieve the burden on Sergio Busquets, or at least impose competition on Gavi and Pedri, but none of the options worked well as a result. Therefore, it is rather unlikely that Kessie will want to go on accepting his substitute role in the new squad. The new Barcelona gives no guarantees even for the old-timers. Last season, Jordi Alba was among the leaders of the team, remaining untouchable on the left flank of the defence. But at the beginning of the latest campaign, Xavi unexpectedly decided to put him on the bench. According to rumours, the Catalan coach was disappointed by the performance of 33-year-old Alba in the first match week against Rayo Vallecano. And after that, 18-year-old graduate Alejandro Balde began to be used more often in his place. Moreover, Barcelona proceeded to sign Marcos Alonso from Chelsea, who is known to play at the same position. Alba, who was proving his worth over the years, unexpectedly turned out to be the third choice for the left-back role. Besides that, in the summer, many insiders trumpeted that the Catalans agreed with Inter to send Jordi on loan in order to reduce the salary cap. However, Alba rejected this idea and even refused to have a personal meeting with Xavi over the matter. The negotiations took place behind the player's back, and now he is greatly offended by the head coach, who apparently will put him on the bench and still force him to leave. But in the winter time. One of Arsenal's most promising starlets, Emile Smith-Rowe, had a great season last year, looking like the main think tank in the Gunners' attacking line. Things are different now though. He got left out of the starting 11, losing competition to Gabriel Martinelli on the left flank of the attack. The lad could have been used as 10, but Martin Odegaard is already doing a good job there. Subsequently, the Englishman landed straight on the bench. As for the current campaign, Emile comes out exclusively as a substitute at the end of games, and the explanation for this being Smith-Rowe facing difficulties to gain optimal condition due to various injuries. At the same time, there is a lack of risk for him not to win back his lost place, as those who have established themselves at the first team are clearly not going to give it up. So, believe it or not, in such realities, Arsenal own a reserve footballer whose market value is about £40 million. Previously, only Manchester City could afford such impudence within the roster. Andre Onana is no guy to be envied. He joined Inter for free in July and was supposed to immediately replace the ageing Samir Handanovic. Nevertheless, the Cameroonian goalie's services were neglected. Nerazzurri manager Simone Inzaghi decided that it was too early for a newbie to be number one. 38-year-old Samir continues to play in Serie A, and Onana was entrusted with only 2 Champions League appearances, and that's it for now. Apparently, Andrea is seen as a cup keeper, and this may not change until a year or so when Handanovic's contract comes to an end. For Onana, it certainly would not be superfluous to learn something from an experienced Croatian, but did he think of becoming a substitute when penning a contract with the Black and Blues? We have big doubts about that. Antoine Griezmann became embroiled in the most curious of plots. Atletico have loaned the striker from Barcelona, and following the terms of their agreement, Los Colchoneros will have to buy the Frenchman for €40 million if he spends at least 45 minutes on the pitch in 50% of the matches in 2 seasons at Madrid. Do you follow that? But Rojiblancos did not want to go through such expenses, avoiding obligations by any means necessary. That resulted in Griezmann getting deliberately released after the 60th minute and giving him no more than half an hour of play so as to not fall on Barca's hook. Noticing this trend, the Spanish journalists inflicted a rumour that the Blaugranas are about to sue Atleti for such a trick. The Catalans' leadership plans to accuse the Enedians of intentionally limiting Griezmann's gaming minutes in order to avoid paying bonuses. We wonder how the Catalans are going to convince the court of this claim. After all, Diego Simeone can easily counter it by saying that Antoine's late substitutions are made only for tactical reasons. How will Barca respond? In the legal field, it is probably unrealistic to argue with that. In such a theatre of the absurd, you sincerely empathise only with Griezmann. His level and skill are still undeniable, and he certainly would not have been a substitute if this conflict with Barcelona had disappeared. We've also noticed that the British media already writes about Griezmann's possible move to Manchester United in case the Spanish clubs will not find common ground on the matter. Folks, be sure to subscribe to our Foot Out project, where you will find motivating stories of Gabriel Jesus, Antony, Robert Lewandowski, and many other footballing stars. And that's it for this release. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.